This is a presentation on Master Tung's points and fascial planes.
Hi everyone, I'm Jim Spears and I'm the author of Master Tung's Points and Fascial Planes. I've been practicing Tung style acupuncture for about 16 years, and 3 years ago I came across the work of Tom Myers in his book Anatomy Trains. And in that book I saw a lot of overlap between the fascia and the connective tissues and the way that this could explain a lot of the actions and indications of Master Tung's work. So I spent the last 3 years plugging this into clinical practice, going over Tom Myers' book and getting all the details in that. And what I've put together then is a course that will rapidly accelerate your understanding of Master Tung's points. And whether you're a beginner or an intermediate or advanced level, you're going to learn some incredible things out of this. It's going to take your practice and your understanding of this to the next level. So I'm going to take you on a little journey here and introduce you to some of the fascial lines. We're going to talk about how this relates to the Tai Yang Meridians as well. So I hope you enjoy it.
Let's begin by taking a look at what is known as the superficial back line. And this is a term coined by Tom Myers, who wrote the book Anatomy Trains. For our purposes, we want to consider the Achilles tendon points, 77.01 through 77.04, because they're on this fascial line. Now, these points are known to treat neck pain, whiplash, occipital headaches, brain disorders, and symptoms in the urinary bladder meridian or the superficial back line. Now, to begin to understand how the fascial planes work, we need to understand tensegrity, which is a combination of two words, tension and integrity, and it explains how tension moves through a system. Now, through tensegrity, we can understand how these points can treat the neck, occiput, and head, and this is why we can use points on the opposite end of a meridian, as we do in acupuncture therapy. Now, tensegrity relates to Master Tung's points in several ways. First of all, acupuncture releases tension, or what we call chi stagnation, held in the system. The fascial planes also tell us how tension moves through connective tissues, and tension moves through the fascial meridians in very specific ways. And this has been well described by traditional meridian therapies as well as by Tom Myers. Now, Master Tung's points and Tong's systems produce clinical results that correspond with the principles of tensegrity. Now, what I want to show you here is some of the fascial lines that we use, but more importantly, let's begin by looking at the Tai Yang Meridians to begin. So the two images here show two fascial lines, the deep back arm line on the left, and then on the right, the superficial back line. And the fascial planes actually explain many aspects of point functions in acupuncture. So let's take another look at this here. And one of these dynamics that we need to discuss is the cranio-sacral dynamic, which we find in the connection between these two fascial lines, or between the small intestine meridian and the urinary bladder. So the points 22.08 and 22.09 on the deep back arm line and on the hand, these points are known to treat various conditions that involve the low back, the sacral area, and the kidneys. And these are very powerful points to know how to use. Now, this image here shows the points on the superficial back arm line in blue, 22.04 through 22.07. And then in red, we see the points on the deep back arm line, which are 22.08 and 22.09. Now, they treat a variety of conditions, like I said, lumbar pain, sacral pain, and kidney disorders. But points in blue also have many indications. Well, the difference between them is they work on different levels. Let's take a look at this. So here we see these two arm lines, and the deep back arm line on the left, then it gets to a deeper level in the area of the back, and we can see the superficial back arm line includes the trapezius and the deltoids, which are at a more superficial level. Now let's take a look at some meeting points with the deep back arm line, or the small intestine channel, and the superficial back line, or the urinary bladder meridian. So we speak of these meeting points in Chinese medicine, and if we look at this fascially, this occurs at the attachments of the levator, scapulae, and the rhomboids, where they meet the cervical and thoracic spine. So the Master Tung points on the deep back arm line can all be understood better when we know about these fascial lines in the way that they connect to each other. So in my course, Master Tung's Points and Fascial Planes, we go through a lot of different fascial lines here and compare how they relate to the meridians, as well as how Master Tung's points connect to these and produce the actions and effects that they do. Hope that you've gotten something from this. You can learn more about this at mastertungspoints.com.